What happens when a fighter jet first flown in 1989 is suddenly pushed toward modern warfare standards amid the most dangerous military standoff in East Asia? Taiwan's decision to radically upgrade its oldest combat aircraft could reshape regional air power, supply chains, and crisis calculations far beyond the Taiwan Strait. This video examines how a locally built fighter, once considered obsolete, has become a focal point in a much larger geopolitical contest. If this modernization effort succeeds, it alters Taiwan's defensive depth and deterrence posture. If it fails, it exposes limits that adversaries are watching closely. At stake is not just one aircraft program, but how a diplomatically isolated government adapts militarily under pressure from a far larger rival. Escalation would harden blocs across the Indo-Pacific, while success could buy time in an environment where time itself has strategic value. The roots of this effort trace back to the late Cold War, when Taiwan's access to advanced fighters was constrained by shifting United States-China relations. In the 1980s, Washington declined to sell F-16s, prompting Taipei to launch the indigenous defense fighter program that produced the F-CK Ching Kuo. The aircraft first flew in 1989 and entered service in 1992, eventually fielded in a fleet of 131, after plans for more than 300 were cut back. Today, that jet is the oldest fighter still serving in Taiwan's Air Force, and its original mechanically scanned radar has long lagged behind contemporary threats. To address this, the China Academy of Sciences has been tasked with developing an active electronically scanned array radar tailored for the Ching Kuo. Testing has reportedly begun, drawing heavily on experience gained from the T-5 Brave Eagle trainer, which already flies with an indigenous AESA. In parallel, Taiwan's radar engineers have made rapid advances in gallium nitride technology, improving power efficiency and resistance to electronic attack. This matters because gallium nitride enables higher output in smaller arrays, a capability only a handful of air forces are beginning to field operationally. The United States is introducing its AN/APG-85 radar on upgraded F-35 variants after delays, while mainland China is believed to deploy similar technology on the J-20 and J-16. Sensors are only one part of the upgrade, as planners also intend to integrate longer-range strike weapons to offset numerical disadvantages. These include improved Wanchin standoff munitions and the supersonic Xiongfeng anti-ship missile, extending reach well beyond the island's airspace. Details on future air-to-air missile upgrades remain unclear, underscoring that this is an incremental, not transformational leap. Operational limits still loom large, particularly fuel capacity, which gives the Ching Kuo the shortest range among fourth-generation fighters worldwide. Analysts argue that adding aerial refueling could partially mitigate this, but it would require new training, tankers, and survivability planning. At roughly 9 metric tons empty, it is also the lightest twin-engine fighter of its era, shaping what upgrades are technically feasible. All of this unfolds against Taiwan's unique political status, lacking broad diplomatic recognition and formally opposed by the People's Republic of China. Repeated attempts to acquire F-35s have failed, leaving domestic development and selective U.S. support as the primary paths forward. Even the Ching Kuo's American-made F-125 engines are expected to be replaced over time by indigenous designs aimed at better efficiency. There are precedents for such ambition, including a cancelled plan to turn locally built F-5s into beyond visual range fighters, abandoned due to cost. By contrast, the F-16V modernization of 139 aircraft cost about $4.5 billion and reshaped Taiwan's frontline capabilities. The Ching Kuo upgrade now underway is even more comprehensive, testing the limits of Taiwan's defense industrial base. One possible future sees these upgrades succeed, creating a 4+ generation fleet that complicates any rapid air campaign against the island. Another scenario imagines delays or technical shortfalls, forcing greater reliance on a finite number of F-16Vs and ground-based defenses. In either case, neighboring states and global powers will read the outcome as a signal of resilience or vulnerability. For the broader international system, this program illustrates how middle powers adapt when access to top-tier platforms is restricted. Incremental improvements, domestic innovation, and asymmetric thinking become substitutes for outright parity. Observers should watch testing milestones, engine replacement timelines, and whether aerial refueling moves from concept to reality. Ultimately, the story of the Ching Kuo upgrade is not about a single jet, but about endurance under constraint. It reflects how technology, politics, and time intersect in regions where the margin for error is thin. As viewers track developments, the key question remains whether steady modernization can preserve stability without provoking escalation. The answer will unfold not in press releases, but in production lines, flight tests, and the strategic calculations they quietly influence. In a region defined by unresolved history, measured capability growth may matter as much as dramatic breakthroughs. Whether that balance holds is what will determine if the skies remain contested yet calm, or become the opening arena of a wider conflict. For now, the Ching Kuo stands as a case study in how states stretch existing tools to meet accelerating threats. Its evolution will offer early indicators of whether incremental adaptation can keep pace with rapidly advancing military technology. Those indicators will resonate far beyond Taiwan, informing debates on deterrence, self-reliance, and the future shape of air power. As pressures mount across the Indo-Pacific, similar choices will confront other governments navigating constraint and competition. Watching how this program progresses offers a window into how tomorrow's conflicts may be deterred, delayed, or defined. It is a reminder that power is often accumulated quietly through engineering decisions and budget lines rather than sudden announcements. Stability, in this sense, depends less on declarations than on sustained capacity to absorb shocks and signal resolve. As timelines stretch into the next decade, the upgraded Ching Kuo will test whether such capacity can be built under constant pressure. That test will be watched closely by allies, competitors, and industries assessing the future of contested airspaces. In the end, the aircraft's transformation is less about speed or stealth than about strategic patience.